Alright mate, so this video is not actually about trans people. Up top I can't stress that enough. In fact, I can't stress it so much, we're going to do this. Today's video is about intersex people. These are the intersex pride colours, by the way. And due to the wrongful conflation between sex and gender, intersex people and trans people get mixed up in people's minds quite a lot. So I kind of wanted to clear that up because we are two entirely separate groups. So let's get started with Intersex 101 with the first title card. If asked to explain human sex, most people would say that everyone fits into two boxes, male and female. If pushed further, they may describe male as having a penis and testicles, XY chromosomes, and a higher testosterone level than estrogen level, and then they'd go on to say that females have XX chromosomes, vagina and ovaries, and higher estrogen levels and testosterone levels. They may even go on to describe the secondary sex characteristics that they prescribe to each box. But this binary model of human sex is wrong. Well, to be honest and more precise, it's overly simplistic because it doesn't tell the whole story and it excludes So in the simplest terms, an intersex person is someone whose sexual characteristics diverge from the binary. So for example, they might be born with a divergent chromosomal typing, meaning they will have XXX, XXY, or XYY, or another combination of chromosomes instead of just XX or XY. Or they might be born with a penis and ovaries but no testicles, or they might be born with both a penis and a vagina, or a uterus and testicles and a vagina. There's many different combinations of organs that they could be born with. Or they might have all the primary sexual characteristics of a male, and then when they hit puberty, they'll go through female puberty. There's many different ways that people can be intersex, and really what I'm saying in short is intersex is an umbrella term for anyone who doesn't fit into the rigid confines of the old-fashioned binary model of human sex. The thing to note here is intersex people just have natural variations in human sexual anatomy. They do not have birth defects, but unfortunately, they've historically been treated as such. To this day, doctors will assign visibly intersex babies a binary sex and then perform medically unnecessary surgeries on that baby's genitals just so that they'll fit the social idea that sex is a binary. This practice is in fact so common that the intersex community use the acronyms KFAB and KMAB. Not 100% sure if I'm pronouncing those correctly, but as far as where I am. And each of those mean coerced female at birth and coerced male at birth to identify what sex they were forced into via unethical surgeries on their genitals as babies. Many intersex activists campaign against this practice vigorously because they believe, and I agree, that intersex people should have every right to choose what happens to their bodies. If they want surgeries in the future, then fine. But it should not happen when they're infants when they can't consent to it. This is ridiculous. Sex is a binary. We all know that. Sorry everyone, 1 minute. We seem to have an interruption. Eggs, do you by any chance know who that is? I'm terribly sorry for the intrusion, Alice, but I just have a couple tiny concerns. Like, okay, for example, we both agree that it's entirely fucked up for a doctor to perform any kind of surgery on a baby, unless it's necessary. But surely the birth defects that you're describing would be necessary, because couldn't they cause, like, problems in later life that the baby wouldn't want to grow up into? Or, like, maybe they could even be life-threatening. So surely it's good that the doctors are, like, intervening when the baby needs it? Like I said before, intersex people's sexual anatomy aren't birth defects. They're just natural variations in human anatomy that, for that matter, aren't dangerous to the people born with them, or you. In the same way that my penis isn't dangerous to me and your vagina isn't harmful to you. They're just things that we have. Okay, fine, their variations aren't typically harmful, but they are rare. So surely the rarity of intersex people shows that they don't disprove the binary model, because they're just some kind of extra vitamin statistics thing. Actually, current estimates show that in the USA alone, intersex people probably make up 1% of the population. And then add to that it was a survey study, so everything was self-reported, and the fact that many intersex people will go their whole lives without ever finding out that they're intersex. The real number is probably much, much, much higher than 1%. And even if you just take that 1% and apply it to the rest of the world, that's still hundreds of millions of people. So no, intersex people are not an extraneous variable. In fact, there's more intersex people than there are people with red or blonde hair. And I don't really hear you saying that there's a binary of black and brown hair. So, yeah, no, intersex people are entirely valid. But in high school, I was taught that, like, XY equals boy, or I guess gender, so equals male, and that, like, X equals female. So how can there be a third option? It's binary. We've always known it's binary since high school. So, like, did my teachers lie to me? So you're kind of half right. A lot of people do fit into the binary model, and it has its uses, but what they don't teach you in high school biology is the scientific method, by which I mean, as new evidence comes to the table, old theories get thrown out and new ones that tell a more complete story replace them. And that's all that's happening here. The old model only really covered 2 groups and ignored hundreds of thousands of people. So a new, more fluid theory of human sex just makes more sense. And actually, a more fluid theory of human sex is what most biologists use and prescribe to now. In retrospect, wider society is way behind the times. And I don't have a science degree. I'm just a person. All of this is really confusing, and I know how to look after my boxes, okay? And I need to concentrate time on that. This is just really confusing, this whole intersex thing. I don't get it. Look, it's new and different to everything we've ever been taught. So I understand that it can be hard to wrap your head around. And frankly, you don't need to understand all the science. Just accept that intersex people exist and that they have as much right to be legally recognised and have control over their bodies as anyone who fits into the binary. That's all I'm asking. Thanks for watching to the end, mate. If you want to help me make these more regularly, then please do give me a one-time donation on PayPal, links up there. Or you can become a patron and get lots of goodies for a monthly donation, also up there. Also, I'd like to shout out a channel called Pidgejen. They make loads of cool videos talking about intersex and being intersex. And if you want to know more about this, then feel free to check them out. Link will be in the description. Otherwise, please share this video around so that it can reach as many people as possible and we can destroy those boxes. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the post-mortem next week. Bye.